What is up, guys? PetriFyTV here. Welcome back to a brand new video, and today is going to be top 5 best SMGs. Our last video for top 5 assault rifles, I asked you guys for 1,300 likes for me to do this video, and you guys got 2,000 likes. So if you guys like to comment down below what top 5 you would like me to do next, whether it's pistols, DMRs, snipers, whatever you want, you can leave those comments down below. And our like goal to do another one of these is 1,500 this time. I know you guys can do it. I know you won't disappoint me. So a couple things I want to mention in this top 5 list. You will not be seeing me put any SMGs in here that require a broken setup for them to be top tier of an SMG. So don't expect a bunch of different broken setups in this top 5 list. I also want you guys to keep in mind this is my personal preference and what I personally like to use and what I think is my favorite top 5 SMGs, and I would love to share that with you guys. You guys can also try my setups in all these submachine guns. I'll be giving you a setup with each one. This is technically a top 6 because I'm going to give you guys one SMG right now that would be my #1 spot, but it's not technically a submachine gun. It's an assault rifle that you can turn into a SMG, which is the new C7 that was recently added into the Canada update, and you can turn that into a submachine gun. And I just want to say that's probably the best SMG in the game right now currently if you do the SMG build. But to make it that good, you have to use the long barrel and the full stock and then the SMG ammo. That's truly what makes the gun insane, and it does put it at the top of the list for submachine guns, but I just wanted to put that in a 6th spot because it's not technically a submachine gun, and I would like to give you guys an actual top 5 list, not a top 4 list with the AR that you can turn into a SMG. Anyways, let's hop straight into the actual top 5 list, and coming in the 5th spot is the M3A1. Now, I was having a hard time actually putting this in the list, but I personally think this is a really good gun, and I think it takes quite some skill to use it, so that's why in the 5th spot. And it's a pretty good gun, and it can do pretty much all ranges. For an SMG, it just has a super slow fire rate, but with the setup that I put on it, I actually put the muzzle booster on this, and it increases the rate of fire by 8%, which is quite a big increase, but I don't recommend you guys to do that. It ruins the recoil. The vertical recoil it's terrible. But the setup that I use on this M3A1 is the reflex sight, green or blue laser, whichever you prefer, folding grip, and also muzzle booster. In this setup that you guys are in this video you guys are watching is the muzzle booster, but I recommend putting on the muzzle brake over the muzzle booster. But after you practice with the muzzle brake for a little bit, maybe try out the muzzle booster after you unlock it and see if you guys like that more. But I definitely do recommend the muzzle brake over it. The reason why I put this in the 5th spot or even put it in the list at all is because it's pretty unique, and it does take quite a bit of skill to get used to and get good with overall, so that's a big reason why I put it in. And it's also in the 5th spot for that reason as well. It's a very unique SMG. It's quite different from every other SMG in the game, mainly for the fact that it has a super slow fire rate. But yeah, I'd love for you guys to try out this setup and let me know down below in the comments what you think. And keep in mind, you can always comment down below your top 5 list so I can see what you guys think are the best SMGs. Coming in at the 4th spot is the Vector. I was going to put this in a higher tier list, probably 1 or 2, but I feel like it's been overused so much, so it kind of deserves to be in the top 5, but in the 4th spot. The Vector was nerfed quite a while back, but it's actually still really, really good. And you got 3 new ammo types that you can put on this thing. You can also put 9mm rounds on that also give you 33 rounds instead of 20 or 25 with the other ammo types that you can get in the game, which is pretty cool that they actually added that type of stuff. But it still has no recoil, which is one of the biggest things about the Vector. It had super fast fire rate and no recoil, and it still has that same exact situation even with no stock on the weapon. You guys see me recently do a video on the tiny Vector a little bit ago. You guys got like 30,000 views on that almost. So my setup is very similar to what it was in that video. We're still going to be using the tiny Vector, but it's your guys' choice whether you want to put more ammo in your Vector or not. That's up to you. So the setup that we're going to be using with this Vector is the reflex sight, muzzle brake, no stock. Trust me, no stock is pretty worth it. You can run much faster. Well, not much faster, but a little bit faster, and it makes you even more fast paced with the Vector. And it's quite needed since you got to get out of certain areas sometimes if you don't use like 33 rounds, the 9mm rounds. You got to escape pretty quickly, so not having to always pull out your knife is quite a big advantage in some cases. And for the ammo type, like I said, this is up to you whether you guys want more ammo or not. I personally think the no ammo type is better on this SMG. So if you put nothing on it and you're okay with that, then stick to that. But if you guys do want to try out the 9mm rounds, or if you guys like to have more ammo in your magazine, you can always throw in the 9mm rounds and you'll get 33 rounds in your magazine, which is pretty insane. So make sure you guys try out that setup and let me know how it goes down below in the comments. Coming in at the number 3 spot. Now, I was struggling to put this between a 3 and a 2nd spot, but I decided to put it in a 3rd, and it's the MP10. Now, the MP10 has been probably one of my favorite SMGs for quite some time. It used to be my favorite SMG a long time ago. And with this new update that came in, it allows you to put a new long barrel on the SMG, which is pretty insane. With the long barrel, it allows you to do 24 damage per hit from 200 studs out, which is actually insane for a submachine gun. So the MP10 is definitely worth trying out if you guys haven't yet. Now, I don't have a full setup for this overall, but I'll just give you what I used recently. For this setup, I went with the reflex sight. For the barrel, I went with long barrel so I can get that increased damage. Blue laser or green laser, that's completely up to you which one you want to use. I like the blue laser personally. For the grip, I went with the stubby grip, and you can also switch this out with the folding grip if you feel like that's better for you, but I think this SMG deserves the stubby grip. And for ammo types, nothing. The reason why I like this SMG is because, again, it's another all-around SMG, similar to the M3A1, but a much faster fire rate. And I definitely do recommend trying this gun out, and I'll be honest with you, this SMG does deserve a number 1 spot, just so you guys know. It's that good. But these other 2 SMGs I personally love, and I think they're the best SMGs in the game, but people think otherwise, and so yeah, you guys probably won't like the next 2. Coming in at the number 2 spot is the L2A3. Coming in at the number 2 spot is the L2A3. I did a video on this about a month ago, and it did pretty good. But overall, this is probably my favorite SMG in the game out of all the SMGs. I just love the way it sounds, the way it feels. It's just all around one of my favorite SMGs, and I would like to share my setup with you guys and for you to try it out for yourself. Now, this is another one of those guns that are pretty much all around, and it is pretty good up close, and again, like I said, from range. So my setup for the L2A3, I kind of have like attachment that I switch in and out. It's really up to you guys which one you want to try out. But for our optic, again, we're going with the reflex sight, my favorite sight in the game after the mini sight got changed a little bit, or else I would use the mini sight. For our barrel attachment, we're going to go with a long barrel so we can get that extended range damage. For the grip, I'm going to go with the folding grip. You can also try out the stubby, that's up to you. For our other attachment, now this is something where you guys kind of decide and try out for yourself. I personally run around with no stock on this weapon, but again, you are going to get a quite big increase in vertical recoil and recoil overall. So if you just throw on a stock, it will fix that. So it's completely up to you whether you want to run no stock or run a laser instead. But if you do end up running a laser, I recommend the blue laser. Again, my favorite laser in the game. But I kind of switch between depending on the maps. If we're playing on Metro, I'll use no stock. If we're playing on Ravad, for example, I'll put a stock on this weapon. So to kind of explain to you how I use the weapon overall, that's what I do. For ammo types, we do nothing. Coming at the number 1 spot is my second favorite SMG in the game, and slowly become to my favorite over the L2A3, which is the MP5 SD. Now, if you guys don't like having a built-in suppressor and putting the long barrel suppressor on the SMG, then you can use the MP5, not the MP5K, the MP5, and you're pretty much going to get the same exact performance. But I personally love using the SD version of this MP5, so that's what I'm going to go with for the number 1 spot. Now, what I love about this SMG is that it performs at all ranges, as well as up close, and honestly, it kind of outperforms all the other SMGs from a distance, even though it has a weaker damage per hit from range. But the recoil control on this weapon is actually insane. So that's what makes it even better. For example, the MP10 does have a high damage from range, but the recoil will make you miss a couple shots, so it might not be worth it. The MP5 SD will be doing about 19 damage per hit from about 200 studs. I think that's what the stat was. I don't have the stat page up right now, but it's around 150 or 200 studs that is going to be doing 19 damage per hit. But if you add that on top of the no recoil whatsoever, easily the best handling SMG in the game, kind of got a pretty good long range SMG. But my setup for this, and I would love for you guys to try it out because it's my favorite setup for this gun, which is the reflex sight. For the barrel, we're doing a long barrel because that's the only option you have. Plus, it does increase your damage quite a bit, so I definitely recommend the long barrel. For our underbarrel, we are going to be going with the stubby grip. And if you guys don't like the stubby, you can always try out the folding, but I promise you stubby is the best option for this weapon. For our other attachment, we're just going to be going with a blue laser, and if you guys prefer the green laser, you always throw that on instead, or the regular laser, whichever one you prefer, but I like the blue laser. For ammo types, we're doing none. reason why we don't put ammo types on a lot of these SMGs is it does sometimes increase damage up close, but it decreases damage extremely from range. So that's a lot of the time that's what ammos do. You don't really want to use ammo types unless a specific weapon has other ammo types. For example, the Vector has 3 new ammo types. But yeah, that's my top 5 list, and like I said, there was 6 in this list, but it's not an AR, and is the brand new C7 assault rifle that just came out. And if you throw on the long barrel, the full stock, and also the SMG rounds on that thing, you're gonna be melting people from all ranges and even up close. And I mean, the thing's insane. But yeah, if you're a high enough rank and you do have the C7 unlocked and you do have the attachments that I said, the long barrel, the full stock, and also the ammo conversion for the SMG, I definitely recommend trying out that gun because it is the best SMG in the game. Obviously, you're gonna be moving quite a bit slower when you have the long barrel on, but it's needed. If you want to have a little bit more recoil and more movement speed, you can always put on the retractable stock and you can try that out, and that'll give you a little bit more movement speed. Again, I do recommend the full stock because you pretty much have no recoil with the weapon, so it's definitely something you might want to try out. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. That's my top 5 list. Again, these are all my personal preference. This is what I prefer using in the game over other SMGs. Obviously, there is some SMGs out there that are way better than the M3A1, for example, but in order for them to be like a top tier gun, you had to put broken setups on them, and I didn't really want to put broken setups in the top 5 list. 1, because it encourages people to constantly use those broken setups, and 2, those setups will never get fixed, so I don't want to advertise them all the time. And by broken setups, I don't mean the setups I've been doing recently for the videos. I mean like very no recoil type stuff. Yeah, I don't want to show that to you guys too often, so that's the big reason. Anyways, like I said, for me to do another top 5, my like goal for today is 1,500, and you guys can also comment down below which type of top 5 you would want. Top 5 pistols, top 5 DMRs, etc, etc. You can comment down below whatever I see the most of. That's what we're going to do next time. So make sure you guys smash that like button if you guys do want another top 5. I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I really do appreciate it. Peace out.
I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I'm